Welcome back to another episode of RecTalk. I'm your host, Nitin Sharma, founder, CEO of RecTools.io. RecTools is the only whole-of-market supplier directory for your recruitment business and talent acquisition team. So if you're looking for a new CRM applicant tracking system, maybe timesheet software, maybe you want to take advantage of some new automation software, maybe looking for an invoice financing back office solution for your business, head over to RecTools.io. We've got anybody who is anybody worth knowing about. They've got kind of unbiased reviews from reliable sources. You've got product demonstration videos on a lot of the listings there, in addition to kind of everything you need to make a decision and to join their sales cycle. One thing to note is that RecTools.io take no kickback or no affiliate scheme with any of our suppliers. It is purely a whole of market service to help the recruitment industry do better. So that's RecTools.io. Excuse me. This is the first episode that we've ever done being filmed on a weekend. That's because my guest is so incredibly busy, and we just couldn't. We've been trying to do this for over a year now, trying to align diaries and dates and that kind of thing. But I was really keen to catch up with him. So this might just be like you're a fly on the wall for a conversation between two friends. But there is a lot of value to gain from this, because I really wanted to kind of talk through journey and pivot from, going from kind of life outside of recruitment, right? So how do you kind of leave a recruitment agency, and rather than go and set up on your own, what other options are there for you? So my guest today, you'll know him as the LinkedIn lunches guy. He's the is it national sales or national
sales manager?
National sales manager. I always deal with these job titles, man. He works for MatchMaker Software. You'll know him from the Recruitment Expo. You'll know him from LinkedIn. You'll know him from videos. You'll know him from cold calls. You'll know him from any form of outreach that he's always doing. Jack McManus, mate, thank you first of all for giving up your time and your weekend to come over, mate.
Thanks for having me. Like you said, we've been meaning to do this for ages now.
Way too long.
So here we are on a sunny Saturday in Coventry.
That's it. So for a bit of context for everybody, both me and Jack used to work in recruitment in the Midlands. We're both Midland boys. We at times were competitors, I suppose, because we were working for kind of, exactly right. Yeah. So both on the accountancy finance side. One of those sort of 6 degrees of separation kind of situations where actually your old boss was my boss at one point.
Yeah.
And so there was a mutual connection there and
Correct.
that kind of thing. And then, we just sort of got in touch, hit it off, and sort of stayed in touch ever since, right?
Yeah, I think I come to your offices and I beat you at pool a couple of times.
You did indeed, yes, you did.
You got the Mackies in for losing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've just kept in touch ever since then, haven't we?
Mm. So let's start with your kind of decision to leave recruitment, because look, a lot of people, because you were good at it, you were very good at it. But what kind of drove you to go, do you know what, now's the time for me to do something different?
Do you know what? I was working city centre, and it was that young boys recruitment party vibe, and I just fell out of love with it. I felt like I wanted to grow up, and I felt for me to grow up personally and outside of recruitment, home life and family life, my other half and stuff, it was just the right time to venture into something new. I've always liked sales. I've always liked meeting people, getting on with people, which is funny because in recruitment, I was actually more candidate-led. I was very good at sort of delivery opposed to the business development side. But again, I've always loved sales. And a rugby teammate of mine, actually, he was my predecessor at MatchMaker. Okay. And yeah, he just said, have you ever explored, sales, business development, et cetera, and when I started looking down that avenue, I just thought, it was just the right time to leave. I just sort of fell out of love with it, to be honest.
And that was MatchMaker was your first move post-recruitment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So obviously something's going well enough for you to kind of be like, I need to stay here. This is good. How difficult was that transition though? Because, in the recruitment industry, we've got your business developing both sides, right? You've got to bring on the candidates who are then in I hate calling them product because they're not product, they're commodity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you bring in on the commodity, and then you've got to sell that commodity to people who are prospective buyers in the clients.
Yeah.
So how difficult was it for you to transition from that to a product that couldn't say no?
Well, let's not get it wrong. Recruitment's harder.
Yeah.
You've got to sell yourself first of all to your client, as well as you're selling your commodity and your candidates in. You got to sell yourself to your candidate as well, because in a candidate sort of a short candidate market, you've got to sell yourself as to why they should go with you, exclusivity and all the rest of it. I believe recruitment's probably harder because you've got that sales on both sides. But at the same time, it was difficult transitioning into just a different environment. It's not a sort of a recruitment environment, you know, the boiler room-esque, the office is nice and vibrant, everyone's smashing the phones. It's just completely different. That sort of transition was very weird for me. But yeah, the sales side of things, yeah, as I said, I think it's harder in recruitment, but also being in the recruitment industry, because I'm selling into recruitment companies, worked really well for me. So I'm used to going into sometimes my bosses might not understand what going into a recruitment office is like, because they're used to being in a software development environment. But just going into offices and just seeing that environment, I sort of get that little fix of that boiler room buzz, and everyone's smashing hate to say that, it's so the boiler room buzz, but yeah, but going into offices and see people smashing the phones and everything, it's just, I still get that little snippet of what I used to love, but I'm just doing something different. So I'm still in the industry, in that environment.
I think it's important though, isn't it, to know what a recruiter is going through when you sell into recruiters. I think that's the bit that, certainly from my side, right, looking in, when I'm kind of doing, and it's not mentoring, it's just like me giving my opinion, whether sometimes it's unsolicited or not, right? But it's sort of like, I have a lot of, especially now, there's a lot of tech being brought into the rec space.
Correct.
A lot of people are always asking for opinions and like, oh, how would you pitch this? How would you pitch that? And it's kind of almost like, unless you've run a recruitment desk or unless you've run a recruitment business, you don't get it. These guys are very differently minded, and what when you think the feature, advantage, benefit, what you think is an advantage and a benefit to your feature isn't necessarily what's the advantage to them. Correct. And the story you're trying to paint or sell it's not hitting home in the same way. Yeah. Like I've got a lot of time for these guys. They're a web development business, the guys at Nodex. And the first time I spoke to Andy, who runs it, with Alex, and he was giving me like, I was sort of, mate, this is liquid gold. You know, he was like, oh, we had this client and their SEO was all over the place, and they were like, oh, we barely get any site visits, and we barely get any this, and we barely get any of that, and no one ever applies on our website anyway, so there's really no point in posting jobs on it. Yeah. And he was like, right, so we did this, put in this, put in that, and then before we knew it, this guy, like sort of 60% of his applications that were actually at interview were coming through his website, and he was ranking on the first page of Google, this, that, and the other, and we did all of this stuff for him. And I was like, that's liquid. Why are you not telling that? That should be in your brochures. That should be on your front page, right? Absolutely. Because that's the thing that recruiters are going to be like, oh, you can get me out. You can get me applications that are not on job boards. Yeah, fantastic. That's what I want. And then for them, it was sort of like selling the technical solution to like, I was like, you're telling recruitment business owners about backlinks and the importance of SEO ranking, and they're just like, I don't give a shit about any of this. Like, how do I, and it's the same thing, right? You're talking about selling a product in a very saturated market, i.e. CRMs. Yeah. And then you go in, okay, so what makes yours better? Well, unless I've ran a recruitment business or worked on a temp heavy recruitment desk or a retained recruitment desk, I can't take those examples and go, well, this is why. Yeah. Actually, have you ever had this happen? Yeah. It won't happen with us.
Yeah, correct.
So the transition was there, that made sense. You've got to stand out then, right, in a competitive market like that. Now, dare I say it, and I'm sure your boss won't mind, your guys' marketing budget is nowhere near Bullhorn and Loxo and all. So kind of talk me through then at what point you decided, do you know what, I need to do something differently, because there's only so much success you can get from hitting the phones and going and have meetings, right?
Well, you know what recruitment's like. We all know each other, don't we? So I thought, I just looked out to my LinkedIn market. So 5 years ago, I had like a couple of hundred followers. All in recruitment, just friends that you meet in town that work at other companies. And obviously, it's like a revolving door in certain recruitment companies. So you come across so many different people. And I thought, I'm just going to start, instead of cold calling, that obviously works very well as well. Email campaigns. And then I thought, right, I'm going to start really focusing on LinkedIn. And I just started noticing it build traction. First of all, I started off with doing that stay toxic. Like, what was it? The first one I'd done that I got like 200,000 impressions. It was ghost your recruiter, stay toxic, something like that. And then I quickly realised I don't want to be known as that guy, controversial guy. because I'm not actually really like that. So I thought I'm giving off this online persona.
Were there any? I was going to say, were there any things that triggered you to kind of be like, nah, look, this is working, but I don't want to do this.
It was working, but I noticed it was a lot of lads slide into my DMs. Oh, I love that. And then I'd get a couple of messages like, you're not really giving off the right impression there. And then, yeah, I realised, this isn't the persona I want, because I'm not actually like that. I get on, I get on with everyone. So I just thought it's time to switch it up and try something different.
So then you landed on the LinkedIn lunches thing. Give me kind of, where did that come from? Where does that sort of?
I used to be like a semi-professional rugby player and stuff, and our mutual friend, our old boss, they used to call me Gloop at Venn Group because of how much I used to eat, like Augustus Gloop from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So how much I used to eat lunches, and I eat weird stuff, and during certain parts of the rugby season I'd be protein heavy, and I'd be eating stuff like cockles and mussels that you see on my LinkedIn now. Obviously I'm not playing rugby anymore, as you can tell by my physique. But yeah, I enjoy eating that stuff. And I think someone at work said, your lunches just, the people understand what you eat. And I thought, I'll throw something on LinkedIn. I'll throw something on LinkedIn and see what happens with that. And as you've seen, it's just spiraled and snowballed, and it's working really well. But everyone resonates with that lunch thing, don't they? Everyone eats lunch. If I'm dropping in on someone's inbox, I could be like, how about I come to your office? I'll bring lunch, because they know me for my lunches, and it's working so far. So whilst the sun shines, make hay, or whatever it is they say.
No, but this is the thing, though, right? You kind of you touched on two really important parts there. The first is the reason to kind of move away from the toxic or stay toxic kind of mantra, right? Yeah, absolutely. That would have worked for somebody who actually was naturally quite a bit of a lads culture-y type, or I just take the piss out of everyone, and because of my arrogance I sell off the back of that, because some people buy into that, right? Authenticity is so key with personal brand, and look, we're not of the school of personal brand. We're of the school of sales did this, marketing did this. We're of the school of like, we're salespeople, bash the phones. And so while we were kind of in our recruitment days, infancy to kind of completion, personal brand was starting to become the buzzword, and we were kind of always a bit like, I don't even want to even consider what that is. But then unknowingly we were kind of doing it anyway, but just within our client base, right? Everybody knew, my client base in recruitment knew me as the guy that would, he would F and blind in meetings. He wouldn't care if he didn't know the answer, he'd ask. I remember getting reprimanded once for sitting there in it was a client job briefing, and she said something to do with, it was a management accountant job, I think, and he said, the client was like, so obviously they need to do the accruals and prepayments, and everyone's like writing down, and there was two other businesses there taking the same brief, and I went, can I just stop you there? I hear accruals and prepayments like literally every job brief. What the fuck does it mean? And she laughed, and she was like, right, okay, I'll explain it to you. She explained it. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, fine. And the other two were looking at me like, did you just...
Can't believe he's just said that.
I'm not an accountant. Like, if I was an accountant, I'd be applying for this job, not finding people for it. And she pulled me to the side afterwards because I love the fact that you did that, because I can guarantee you the other two didn't know what it was either, but they didn't want to seem stupid. And I liked that. And then I kind of like, that became my thing of like, oh, he always just asks the authentic questions. Like, if I don't know someone, I want to ask you.
Yeah.
And, And so, but personal brand was always one of those things where we were like, stay away from that. That just sounds like a bit of a, just a fake thing to do. But now we're like full advocates of it. You know what I mean? Like, that is what we do.
That's what I do every day.
Exactly. On LinkedIn,
exactly that.
An audience and then going, there you go. I can sell to all of you now.
Yep, correct.
And this is the bit that I think people don't get. So something as simple and authentic as I eat weird lunches. People that I know look at my lunches and go, what the fuck is that? So if I put that out in a wider domain, more people will do the same thing. And then I can use that to my advantage to be like, I'm going to bring you a jar of cockles, let me come out to you.
Yeah.
But how did that land with your boss? And that's not to throw your boss under the bus, but like he's obviously a lot more traditionalist in terms of they're tech people, they're not salespeople. How did that must have been a conversation that's come up at some point, right? What the fuck are you doing?
To be fair, it's not ever been a conversation whereby, oh, Jack, come in this meeting room, let's have a chat. No. It's like he'll walk past my desk, he'll be like, what's that you've put on LinkedIn? And I thought after the Stay Toxic things, and I saw it getting traction, I thought, I don't know if this was going to land me in hot water, because I thought, again, it's giving off that unprofessional persona that people don't really want to be known for. Like you said, unless you've got that sort of arrogance about you and you can sell off the back of
Especially given how small the team is at Matchmaker as well. You guys had just gone through a rebrand, which had, again, took a lot of like focus and stuff like that. And then it's almost like we've decided and landed on a brand tone and voice.
Yeah.
And then our national sales managers going around,
Stay Toxic goes to recruiter and stuff.
Telling people to piss their recruiter off.
But that was just like, it's getting good traction. And it wasn't anything from the boss why I chose to actually transition to the lunches. And then now he sees, or they see, the traction that he gets and the meetings that I'm booking off the back of it. What they're not liking is I have people from Australia, America approaching me, and I'm saying, is it all right if I fly out first class for this prospect meeting over to Argentina and America and stuff like this? But they're really supportive of it. They can see it's working, especially at the expo. Every other person that walks past, Jack, what you got for lunch? And they're like, it's obviously great for me as well as the brand, because it's bringing on.
Absolutely.
Well. So, they're on board with it. To be fair, it's good to maybe bring something new into the business that hasn't been explored.
Are they at the next expo?
What's that? Sorry,
are you guys going to be at the next expo?
Yeah, we should be at the next. We should be at London. Both expos were brilliant. I think the quality of leads come from Birmingham was much better than what it was down in London. I think maybe London's a different market, more your perm contract type IT sort of roles and stuff like that. Birmingham, obviously, you've got a large, heavy, temporary.
I think the thing is, it's easy to just send a bunch of kind of newbies or whatever to London's, to the Excel Centre, right? Go and grab some freebies, merch, go grab some stuff.
Have an afternoon out.
Have a little mooch out. Yeah, you've earned it. Whereas with Birmingham, as we all know, I mean, there's fuck all else at the NEC. If you go in there, you're going there for something.
The traffic, as you know, both of us on
you're
the
right.
first day,
you know what I mean?
Horrendous
It's just
to get into.
Exactly. So it's sort of, if you go in there, you're going there with a purpose. So, yeah. Interesting. I suppose there you go. Then. So now's the bit where you start spinning off the conversation with your boss to be like, listen, chip shop van. Do you know what I mean? Matchmaker chip shop van. That's what forget all your demo screens and this, that, and the other. Just a proper gritty little chip shop van.
Kebabs, cockle, cans of beer.
Yeah, but just imagine people wandering around the expo with little cones of chips and Matchmaker chips. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm telling you, that's a multi-million idea.
I'll see if I can side that into this next year's budget.
Oh, mate, that's funny. No, but okay. So how soon after the kind of like, okay, I'm going to start doing LinkedIn lunches as an example, did you start then going, hang on a minute, I can like it's working, not in that I'm getting a ton of impressions, not in that I'm inboxing people and they're responding, but actually this is converting into business?
There's been a few deals off the back of it. Like I said, just some people come into me and say, how about come across for a demo? We're only in Coventry, for example, and I'll say, I'll bring in the kebabs on the way just as a joke. And they'll be like, oh, come in the morning, bring bacon sandwiches. And then that way, I think, you know, as we were saying earlier about the 90% chit chat and 10% business, you go have breakfast with someone and you get to know someone and build that rapport on a personal level over a bacon sandwich or over a pint in the pub. It just helps the business process so much more when you've got that rapport. This is the thing
I think a lot of new people in sales don't understand is it is 90% chit chat and 10% sales.
Yeah.
Because the whole point in the business meeting is for people to suss out whether they like you or whether you're like them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they're the two reasons why people buy from people, yes, but people buy from people because either you are like them or they like you.
Yeah.
Right? It's one of those two things. And so when you then put that into the sales environment world or the sales meeting world, that's what it's about is you know, the whole kind of rush over, oh, what'd you do this weekend? You know, get your prospect talking. That world's changed, man. They want to hear about all your weird shit that you're up to. Because you will land on something that you both have an agreed interest in, right?
Correct.
They know what you do. They know the day they book that meeting with you that this guy works for this company and they sell this product.
Yeah.
And therefore, this person's coming in to talk to me and sell this product to me. However, I've said yes to the meeting because I'm potentially interested in that, but I want to let me see what this guy's about first.
Yeah.
Because when shit hits the fan and the system doesn't do what it's supposed to do, or something's not gone right, I want to know that I can like this guy enough and I respect this guy enough to be like, can you sort this?
Correct.
And he or she will go, I got it. I'll sort you. You know. And I think a lot of new people in sales miss that trick, and because it's just not taught.
Yeah.
You know. So, okay, how have you found this year then in terms of, because you're going in and out of a lot of recruitment businesses. Let's get kind of like serious for a minute then on sort of the state of the industry.
Yeah.
From where I'm sitting and the people I'm talking to, people really struggled this last year. This 2024 has been an incredibly difficult year for a lot of recruitment businesses. What's your take on that?
Yeah, going out, speaking to the companies that I do, both prospects and clients. Because what you were saying just about people off people, etc. When I go on site or I've got a client, I'm more often than not, all the new sales come through me anyway. But more often than not, I'll be the account manager. So I like to really get to know the business. So right, tell me what the driving team does, industrial, sort of what contracts have you got? Have you got any on-site people? Really learn about the different teams and how each part of my product can help each individual part of their business. And yeah, find out from clients from the start of the year. I've heard Q1 up to maybe the end of Q2 was not so great. Yeah, really, really bad to be honest. And there's been no peak periods. I've heard it's just been flat. I think people are plodding along. Some people have had to make redundancies and stuff, but it doesn't look like that crazy sort of peak you had post-COVID when everyone was absolutely manic. People were hiring left, right, and centre. People were investing in new tech. Even for us this year, I mean, we're still on target. We're still on target for a good year, but it's not been as good as the past 2-3 years have been.
Yeah, and that was almost the correction point, though, wasn't it? That we had, I can't remember who it was. But, I mean, Kalpesh talked about this as well. Kalpesh Baxi in his episode, where kind of post-COVID, you always had this because it dipped off this massive rush. But actually, all that was just a correction to get back to
Square one.
where the trajectory would have been anyway. You've almost got to take the dip and the rise out of the equation, and then kind of look at it from a perspective of, okay, what was it like pre-COVID, and what's it like now? And there's your kind of, are you on track or have you dipped?
Yeah.
Fair. Okay, yeah. So it's been difficult and that kind of thing. Where do you see, kind of, in your opinion, 2025 heading? Is it going to be another sort of slow zombie year, do you think?
Well, historically, Q4 has always been our busiest period, especially people investing, ready for the new year. I'm fully booked out this month and most of next, so I'm hoping off the back of that, that's going to kickstart a great start to 2025, and then the back of a great start, it's just momentum, isn't it? And you carry on building off that. If it starts slow and the chips are down, it tends to plateau at that. But I really don't know.
No, that's fair. What's the average sales cycle for you guys then?
What, in terms of time?
If you were to meet somebody today or do a demo today, how long usually is the cycle before they sign up?
I like face-to-face meetings. I am better face-to-face.
Yeah.
If I'm on Teams, I'll rush and I'll skip over stuff and I won't give them time to ask questions. I'm terrible on the computer, as mad as it sounds. Yeah. Working for a tech company. I'm much better in person. So I try and push for a face-to-face meeting. More often than not, people want Teams first of all, which is absolutely fine. So I'll do what I can on the Teams, give them a whistle-stop tour, as you see me put on LinkedIn all the time. After that, I'll try and book him for a week or two after to come and do a face-to-face.
Yeah.
For large organisations, sometimes it might take a bit longer, which is fair enough. It's a big decision to make for some companies. For your medium, small organisations, it can be a bit quicker, but as quickly as they want to move, to be honest. Anything from I've done a demo, signed them up, and had them installed ready to use within like a 2-3 week period in some cases. Okay. So it's just as quick as the business wants to move, really.
So how was that in terms of a transition then from a recruitment cycle, which, I mean, that can be similar. It can be, you could pick up a vacancy, fill it, and have the candidate start by week 2, or they could be on a 3-month notice period, and you've got to constantly be checking in on them the whole time.
I'd probably try to sell them in for that afternoon. Come on, I'll give you half an hour. I'll give you half a day's free. I'll get him in this afternoon as a trial. It's not as, because the classic. What would you say your disadvantages are at a job interview or whatever it is, your disqualities. And I'd be like, I'm impatient, but on a Friday night, the missus throwing her heels down the stairs at me because I'm impatient. But in a temp recruitment desk, being impatient,
that's a strength.
Yeah, it's a strength, isn't it? You get your candidates in there. So, it is different. I'm a very manic guy as it is, so it's a lot more chilled out than I'd like it to be. But you don't want to be too pushy. And businesses, it is a big decision to change a whole thing like a CRM and technology, especially if they've been established for 10 plus years and they're used to one system. So you just have to go with the flow, really, and just I don't cater to you.
These are big price point products at the end of the day, aren't they? Because they're kind of monthly licensed, and as you said, some people stay with their CRMs for like 5, 6, 7 years.
Correct.
So we're talking like hundreds of thousands of pounds being invested in these things. So yeah, but yeah, from a salesperson perspective, that must have been a difficult transition then to go from, I can pick up a vacancy and fill it by that afternoon to, fuck man, I've got to put them in a sales cycle and slow myself down almost and retrain myself. Are you glad you made the change?
Yeah, I am. I've been at MatchMaker now 5 going on 6 years maybe. Yeah, loving it. It's, like I said, I've always loved the sales side. And I think outside of work though, I've really grew up as well. Being more in a not that being in some of the recruitment offices I have been in aren't professional. Some of them maybe they weren't, but just being in that professional environment, it's helped me grow outside of work as well. It's made family life much better. Just relationships with like my other half, and even like my dad and stuff. He'd try to come around to see me on a Saturday, and I'd either still be out or hungover because I'd be out with all the recruitment like on a Friday. It's made everything.
It's all part of growing up. Here's the thing I find interesting though is your reasons for kind of leaving recruitment are all almost identical to kind of my reasons of setting up on my own. Right, I didn't want to do I didn't have the corporate fit.
Yeah,
Michael Page was a great place to learn, fantastic company to work for in your early years. But unless you're going to then devote your life to them and be the first in the office and the last to leave and go to every event and all that sort of stuff, your face just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And my take always was like, look, I've got my friends. I don't need to make friends with people here. As in, like, I don't need to be drinking with you till 3 a.m.
Correct.
Like, I'd rather be sat around a campfire with my mates talking about, anything else than to be sat at the most expensive bar in Birmingham, showing off my watch.
Exactly that.
And so that was my reason for kind of setting up my own business and then sort of going off in the manner that I did. But the irony is though that actually in that time that we kind of did that and left the industry, not the industry, but the desks, so to speak, that world's changed as well. Because that doesn't happen as much anymore. You don't see as many kind of like high roller IB for holidays as much as you used to, right?
Yeah.
Or you don't see as a lot of those sort of night out pictures and this is what we do for our guys. And the industry seems to have almost changed and been like, okay, guys, we are like, we're a consultancy. Let's start behaving like a consultancy.
Be more professional. Yeah.
Which I think that for me that's key for survival, right?
Yeah.
I get to do this for a living, right? And you meet some really interesting and very intelligent people. And what's abundantly clear is that running a sales business as it was back then, the incentives that we used to have and the sorts of things that we used to be put in front of us as kind of gauntlets, those businesses have got a limited shelf life. And actually what our clients are asking for is partner with me, help me. We're going through turbulent times. Don't just come sniffing around because you can sniff a fee and then charge that fee and then leg it. Stay with us, grow with us, and it's an interesting time, I think, to be in the industry. So what's your plans in terms of then kind of your LinkedIn personal brand and so on and so forth? Are you thinking about kind of where else to take this, what else you do? Did you go on a course? Where did this all come from? Because obviously you've sat there like and just decided like, this is what I'm going to do.
It was. I sort of had a plan after I started getting traction with the stay toxic thing.
Yeah.
Because it was a little bit controversial, but make comments that
it was taking something that was already happening and kind of just doubling down on that and taking the piss out of it.
Exactly that, and then just people would like the comments, and then like I'd drop on like a I'll be honest, because like umbrella companies do it on my statuses because it's just a fishing ground for them for temp recruitment businesses. So I used to drop on a rec to rec status and say something controversial because lots of recruiters would see that. Like I said, with the umbrella companies now do it on mine, it's funny because I just see what they're doing because that's what I used to do. But yeah, I just started working the stay toxic thing, and then it was just the whole I didn't want to be unprofessional.
I've got to pick it. I've got to find it out, right? But do you remember? This is when you were working recruitment still, and you had a vacancy. This is what opened up the conversation with me and you, because you had a vacancy and you put something out about a credit controller in the Midlands.
Yeah.
And I commented on it, going, "That sounds great.
but if you're a credit controller in the Midlands and you don't want this vacancy, get in touch with me because I've got this one. And it was one of your senior associate directors or something like that messaged me straight away. She's like, that is so unprofessional. Jack works really hard. I can't believe you've done this and like this, that, and the other. And I was like, I think that's funny. Like, but then I remember messaging you and going, I've deleted it. Like, apologies if it's like put you out.
What did I say? I don't care.
You went back with, mate, that's hilarious. Like, I think that's really funny because your candidates as well are going to see the fact that you've commented means that your candidates will also see my post that I'm not connected to. And do you know what I mean? It's like an exchange of value there.
There's enough of the pie for us all to have a little slice, isn't there?
Oh my God. And I remember, I need to fish that out now because I thought it was hilarious. And she did not at all. And she was like, and it was our old kind of mutual connection that got in touch and was like, mate, she's absolutely fuming about this. Like she's like storming around the office shouting.
I think I know that might be. Yeah. I'm not gonna say any names.
And I was like, but I think that's hilarious. But yeah, you're right. That's it. You go. I have it in mind, right? In my stuff where people will comment on, and there's a particular web developer who will constantly comment on everybody's stuff. And wherever I'm sort of there, he'll kind of sniff around because he knows then that he'll get some sort of fallout and get kind of, it's just part of the game, isn't it? That's just what you got to do.
That's what LinkedIn's for, isn't it? Really, though.
Exactly,
networking, finding other people, making connections. If you don't know them, connect with them, chat with them.
No, that's it. So you get Rec now comment on your stuff, or is it?
So I used to sniff out like Rec. Apologies if I've ever done one of the Stay Toxics. I've been a bit controversial on one of your posts. And then I used to get recruiters just either connecting with me or sending me a message, mate. Can't believe you said that. That's so funny. And then now I have umbrella companies on all my stuff. Even ones that aren't connected with me, I see them just dropping a comment so they get the notifications and stuff. I forgot who dropped in. It was someone from, might have been Sanjay.
Right.
He was like, "Yeah, your LinkedIn posts are brilliant for me," type thing. And then I realised actually there's like 3 or 4. And then who was it that's recently set up? Someone had recently set up and been like, "Mate, because I commented on your Cockles picture, I've had 4 umbrella companies add me straight away."
Yeah.
So it's just, but that's what it's for, isn't it?
But yeah, that's right. Yeah, but then that keeps the engagement up.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, it makes sense too. And the fact that you're not getting, you're not getting discouraged by doing it, kind of shows the different world that we're in, right? Because, look, we're ex-recruiters. We know what it was like back in the day. It'd be, Joanne's got a vacancy that she's just posted on LinkedIn. Can you all like and share it?
Yeah.
And you're like, brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Now my LinkedIn feed is just literally me resharing everyone who has ever worked for us. Their vacancies.
I looked at my images from back in the day, and it's just like my old company branded like vacancies with just nothing on, just nothing.
Yeah.
Just like get marketing to do this snippet, put it on LinkedIn, and just nothing would ever happen.
Yeah. And you just sit there and be like, why is LinkedIn not pushing my thing? What's happening here? First. So let's talk about video then, because you're as good as you are with the personal brand and that kind of thing. You stay clear about video. You stay clear of video, don't you?
Yeah.
Why?
I've got a Facebook account somewhere out there in the ether. It's in my granddad's name, just so, because I had back in the day I had someone refuse to work with me because they said, "Oh, you shared something on your Facebook. It was like from a football casual page or something, and just like stuff that you share when I was a lot younger." And so I changed my Facebook name, so I don't really go on Facebook. I've got Instagram. I've got about 90 followers on it. I don't really use that. And yeah, TikTok, I don't even have a TikTok. Everyone messaging me saying you need to like monetize this because you get that many impressions. You need to set up a TikTok, and apparently if you get 100, however many views on TikTok, you can obviously earn money off it.
Create a program,
I can't see how I could. I could review. I don't know. Maybe I might investigate it. I don't know.
The thing is, there is a way to do that. Yeah, absolutely, but. It takes it from what it is, which is an organic, fun thing that you do as part of your kind of marketing routine for that day.
Yeah.
And then turns it into something that you've got to really sit and think about.
Probably focus more so on that.
Yeah. What I'm talking about then is the fact that, so LinkedIn, video is now really important for LinkedIn, right? In that they have a dedicated section on the app now for video.
Yeah.
Anytime you click on a video now, it takes you directly into their Reels or Shorts version, and you can just scroll through video all day long.
Yeah.
So have you thought about that, and have you kind of Because what are you like in front of camera? Do you know? Because you don't put much, if anything, out on video, do you? Really?
I think the only video I've put on LinkedIn was after I'd done the Leeds Marathon this year.
Right.
Of me, I don't know if you saw it, but I sort of get out my car and my missus is like hysterically laughing at me, and I'm like this, walking to my front door.
Yeah. I did see that one.
That went quite viral. To be fair, I had a couple of 100,000 impressions on that, but that's literally the only video I've ever put up. I don't know. It's something I'd have to explore. But like you said, my focus is helping the accounts that I've got, helping the new business come along with prospects I'm currently meeting. I wouldn't want to
switch focus and just, look, you're not trying to be an influencer.
I'm not trying to be an influencer. So
I get that. No, I get that. Well, I guess what I'm saying is though that your static posts and pictures only get so far, right? And they get great impressions, but they do only get so far. Given the fact that LinkedIn is now focusing purely on video, try out rather than taking a still picture of your lunch, just sort of panning across it. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And post that because that will end up in that feed.
That's just like, what do they call it on Instagram, like a boomerang?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Kind of, just sort of pan past it, right? Yeah. Here's the jar of cockles and here's the monster munch that I'm eating with it and whatever. And sort of still put your post out as it would normally, and it's a 5-second video. Yeah. But you'd be surprised as to how much further that will go because the focus is video.
Do you think people spend more times like this? Is probably why won't get TikTok, because I love YouTube, right? So I spend loads of time on YouTube Shorts, Joe Rogan Experience clips, etc. I can find myself 2 hours deep in a YouTube short scrolling. Like if my other half's at the gym or whatever, I'll just sit on the sofa. Before I know it, it's she's gonna be back from the gym in a minute. I've done nothing that she told me to do, and so I sort of get worried that I'd get like that with TikTok. So that's why I've never downloaded it.
I think you absolutely would. So you absolutely would.
Do you think people would just naturally come across your content just because of scrolling? And
I think that's why LinkedIn have done this.
Yeah.
So, Instagram did it with the Reels. YouTube got the Shorts. TikTok is the entire app is just video scrolling, right? To the point where you can have auto scroll on it, just scroll through each video.
Auto scroll. I need that for YouTube Shorts.
Honestly, bro, I have seen, and this is no exaggeration, I have seen people driving, young people driving, with their phone on like like a mount,
like on a sat nav thing.
Yeah. But they're just watching TikTok while driving, and they're just it's scrolling itself. I've witnessed this in traffic and stuff. And on the M6 it was, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening here?" Like, this is kind of how people are consuming their information now. And what I always say to people is, LinkedIn, yes, it's a professional networking site. Yes, it's great for recruiters. Yes, it's great for business and brand and all the rest of it. LinkedIn, in its very first iteration, or the very first thing it is, if you ask the creators or the guys that work in their teams, what is LinkedIn?
Yeah.
LinkedIn is Microsoft's social networking site.
Yeah.
Right? It's their equivalent of Meta. It's their equivalent of TikTok. It's their equivalent of Threads and Twitter or whatever.
All my friends in the trade, sorry to interrupt, my friends in the trade, if they ask, like when I'm on about LinkedIn and stuff, because I do get a bit excited about it, I'm like, this postcard. I'm like, how I explain it is, it's Facebook for business.
Exactly
how I describe it.
So LinkedIn don't want to be just a business networking site.
Yeah.
Which is why, and people can get pissed off with this all they want, but which is why when a recruiter comes back off her holiday from Ibiza, or when John's taking his cute dog for a walk and takes a picture of that, or when it's something that's not, this isn't,
Jack's taking a picture of his lunch.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? This is why it goes so viral or goes so far, because that's what LinkedIn wants. It doesn't want you to stand there and talk about your construction manager vacancy. It doesn't give a shit about that. It doesn't. The algorithm or the people behind the algorithm, they don't care. What they want is people stuck on the app the same way that we get stuck on TikTok or YouTube Shorts, right?
Yeah.
And so this is the next iteration of that, is the video piece. And I think a lot of recruiters and a lot of recruitment supply chain are going to miss the trick here because of either a self-conscious thing about not wanting to be on camera or not seeing the value of it. But actually, people are going to be spending time on LinkedIn just scrolling through video after video, because the difference is that unlike TikTok and YouTube Shorts, you can actually do a lot of doom learning rather than just doom scrolling.
Yeah.
If
you're taking some intellectual sort of content in opposed to
exactly. If your connection list is really kind of tight in the niche that you operate in,
yeah,
you're only going to see videos of people and content creators who are creating valuable e-learning content for you to consume, and therefore by the end of that hour, okay, I haven't done the dishes, love, but what I can tell you is what GDP is and why that's important and why inflation is where it is right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, worth considering, worth thinking about.
One of my clients, I get on well with the marketing manager there, Emma. I forgot what she put on LinkedIn the other day, but they've got like the #1 recruitment business TikTok or maybe Instagram or something. And I think that is the way. It's just the way the world's going now. Is it? Like you said, we're just from a different generation, aren't we? But
we've been sucked into this. We've sit there.
Yeah, we're there now.
We do it all the time. I'm watching TikTok all the time. And then when I'm bored of TikTok, I'll open up Instagram and have a look through Instagram
Look through
reels.
the reels,
And when I'm bored of that, I'll go on to YouTube Shorts.
I'll definitely give the reels, like you said, just if it's panning, or I could, like my normal lunch, then pan onto the cockles or something.
That's it.
That type of thing.
Just something for it to go to the same audience, but just more of it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because those who see it on their feed are still going to see it on their feed. Because again, it's very intelligent and picks up that, hang on, these are the 50,000 people that usually stop and look at this post.
Yeah.
You know, let's show it to them, but also let's see who else might be interested in this. So
I'll give it a go.
But it's not about being an influencer. That's the point, right? You're not trying to be an influencer. What you're trying to do is fundamentally do what you're doing right now, which is I want people to like it so that I can see who's liked it, so that I can pick up the phone to them and say, aha.
Yeah.
You found something I did entertaining enough for you to, do that. Let's see if we can turn this into something else.
Or just what system do you currently use, even if you're not looking.
That's it.
And just it all adds to the database, and it's all information,
Exactly.
isn't it?
That's it.
Knowledge is power, as they say.
It is indeed, mate. It is indeed. Any final thoughts? Let's wrap this up. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to share with the world? Anything you want to on your post recruitment life? So if there's people sat there right now like, I'm good at recruitment, which we were, but like I'm not feeling it anymore, which is where we were.
Yeah, you've got. Well, I was going to ask you as well. You've got a couple of different avenues, haven't you? Either set up on your own, and if you are setting up on your own, hit me up for MatchMaker. I can show you how that will help you excel. Or you've got to explore something different, haven't you? And I think naturally the skills you learn in recruitment is sales and connecting with people and learning about people and business. So I'd say if you've fallen out of love with it, take a leap, because it's a very tough market and there's a lot of people out there. And if you lose the love for it, and you're very quickly going to sink. And I'd jump ship before that happens. I'd say find something that you love and run with that, like yourself. So obviously you went and set up your own business. You'd done that for a few years. What was it that made you want to move away from recruitment and start this? Again, similar to me, you're still in the recruitment world though, aren't you? You're still in the industry and dealing with the familiar people that you get on with. And
it's a tough one with me, right? I love the industry.
Yeah.
And I get frustrated with the industry because I feel like there's just so many rotten eggs that ruin it for everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Because there are some incredibly talented people that work in this space.
Yeah. But I think for me, it was a combination of a traumatic experience with a business partner who let me down. But also prior to that, just kind of not enjoying it anymore. Do you know when the fun's gone? The whole gambling thing, right? When the fun stops.
Yeah.
And that's what it became, right? I felt like I watched a clip once and it resonated loads with me. It was the comedian Theo Von.
I love him.
Oh no, I fucking love him, man. But like he said this one thing and I was like, that's exactly how I'm feeling. Because he was like, I just feel like I'm going through the motions.
Just doing
and
a
I'm
to-do
just
list.
doing a to-do list.
Yeah.
And it's not even my to-do list anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't even give a shit about doing it, but I have to do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's how I feel about this business, as in like the recruitment business at the time. I was like, I don't want to be there. I go in because I have to. I've got a bunch of staff that look up to me and need me to make this work. But I don't want to be doing this anymore, man. Like I enjoy so many other things and I just want to do things that I enjoy doing. And that was where, for me, it was sort of like, which is why, look, the business shut down. I jumped into RecTools and RecTalk. because that's the shit I really enjoy and really want to do.
Yeah.
And I've got a few other projects that are launching soon. That, again, that's the things I want to do.
You allowed to tell us about that, or are they
No,
soon to be revealed?
well, to be honest with you, because this will probably go out in like 3 to 5 weeks' time, so I don't know
already
whether
be
they'll
there.
already
Yeah,
be out
yeah,
or not.
yeah,
So it just sounds like a bit of an odd, like, oh, this is coming. It's like this came 3 weeks ago, dickhead.
3 weeks.
What are you talking about?
What,
Yeah,
you in a time machine.
yeah. But yeah, no, it's interesting tech recruitment products, right?
Yep.
That's interesting to me anyway. Whereas my former business partner went straight back to opening a recruitment agency and carried on doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
Fine. That's what he liked doing. It's what his skill set lended himself to. Whereas for me, it was like, I just don't want to do this.
You've always been a bit of a techie.
No. I'm just, do you know, I'm one of these people where if I like something enough, I can get really good at it.
Yeah.
And then the minute I don't like it anymore, I just drop it.
Yeah.
I used to play guitar. I learned to play about 7 songs, just Nirvana songs, because I really liked Nirvana. So I learned to play 7 Nirvana songs and then just stopped because I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
That was similar. I used to smoke on the water and whiskey in a jar, and then never touched the guitar since. We've still got the amp and the electric guitar in the loft.
That's it. Full kit wanker. Did it for a little while.
Smashed it for about 3 weeks, and then
No, so yeah, I always had an interest in marketing. Always had an interest in tech. Or like I had an interest in these things, but I've never really been like, I'm gonna sit down and learn how to code.
Yeah.
Because I kind of was like, that's not me. I can't focus that long. What I can do is kind of put together an idea and then go, right, let's do something with this and get excited about it. And then all of a sudden the excitement peaks and then teeters off. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something else now. Like, yeah. I'm not afraid. I'm one of these that's just not afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Go on and see it as fail.
You learn off failure, don't they?
That's
All
the whole
successful
point.
people, that's what they say. You've
That's
got
it.
to fail to succeed.
That's it. So I'm not afraid of like putting something out there that doesn't quite work because it's sort of like, oh yeah, no, that's cool. Where was your failed tech business? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Or where, because I get it a lot. I say, no, I don't get it a lot. That's unfair. I've had it a few times, right? Where they're like, how can you give people advice on kind of recruitment mentorship when your business failed? I'm like, no, that's cool. Where's your failed recruitment business?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're sitting within the comfort zone of employment and sitting there and challenging me on this.
You
took
a dive into the unknown and you tried it,
right?
And for a while, you was quite good, right?
We did great. Yeah. I always say, look, I started, grew, scaled, and then failed a recruitment agency. Yeah. Not many people can say they did all that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And there was things that we did along the way that were reasons as to why it failed, and that's the bit that I focus on with the mentoring that I do. Is look, that sounds like a great idea, but consider these things which we didn't consider. Or actually look at these options, which we didn't consider, you know. So that's it. Do you want to plug your MatchMaker stuff?
Yeah, as usual. Just drop me a direct line on LinkedIn. Jump on the website to view our new range of products. We've got loads of, the buzzword nowadays is AI. So we've got loads of AI automation. We've put into the new MatchMaker Kairos system, which is our new cloud-based system. We do offer server-based still. I think we're one of the only CRMs that still offer both server-based and cloud-based. I may be incorrect there, but
Amazing.
So far that's all I know. It's just us. But yeah, just jump on the website, drop me a message on LinkedIn. Happy to give you a whistle-stop tour, or I'll come see you at your office with a pizza or a
jar of
fish and chips
cockles.
or a jar of cockles.
I think you need to reach out to like who makes cockles now. Who is there like one?
It's like Parsons something, or it's like a Welsh little cockle company.
You haven't got a marketing team, have you?
Well, we haven't.
No, you haven't like a dedicated marketing.
We had a marketing apprentice for a bit, but she left.
Fuck it, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to reach out to that cockles business and say, listen, is there any way we can do a dual branded jar of cockles with MatchMaker slapped all over it,
so I can go,
so we can give them out to. We're going to bring you an entire range of new customers, but all we need is a permission for you to allow us to slap a sticker on it and drop them around.
Well, recruiters are known for like having a drink, aren't they? And then I think back in the day, you used to have a cockle man used to go around the pubs. My dad used to say,
"Oh,
like,
really?"
Pre us being born or whatever, so we could bring that back. Cockles in pubs with the recruiters and some sort of vibe.
I think that's on it, yeah. Mate, appreciate this. This has been really fun.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate you giving up your weekend.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Guys, new episodes drop every Wednesday. Thank you for kind of liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting, all the things that you guys do to grow this channel out. We officially hit, as of kind of this weekend of recording, 20,000 followers or subscribers, on YouTube. So thank you very much for that. It'll probably be closer to 25 by the time this goes out. So thank you guys. We'll keep it up and we'll see you again next week.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers, man. Oh, that was good.
Superb. Just like a chat in the pub, wasn't it?
That's what I told you. Yeah, people get really kind of like uneasy or like I don't know how.